This is BHAMBRA here for PSB Sports. I'm here at Wembley today with the IBO Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Chris Eubank Jr. He fights Arthur Abraham on Saturday night at Wembley Arena. Chris, firstly, thank you so much for your time today. You mentioned there in the press conference you want to be the first man to legitimately stop Arthur Abraham. So with your strengths, how are you hoping to do this on Saturday night?
Volume, combination punches, relentless attacks. That is how you stop a man like Arthur Abraham. He's got a great defense, but you can't block 100 punches around. Additionally,
in terms of Arthur Abraham's style as well, he's known to be arguably one of the best round stealers in boxing in the world. I think when he fought Paul Smith for the first time in Germany, a lot of people said that Abraham would come out from the break wrestling for the first minute and a half, and then he would really put out his full punch volume and outlet. Are you aware that Abraham can be a round stealer in the sense that he'll come alive really in the last minute and a half of rounds?
Of course I'm aware. I'm aware of everything that this man does and has done in his career. It's my job to be aware. Nothing will be stolen from me on Saturday night.
In terms of your sparring and training videos on Snapchat, I've noticed you'll be doing a hell of a lot of sparring. Most of your Snapchat consists of sparring. So how has that, in your opinion, how has that helped you prepare for this fight in particular?
Sparring is the most important training you can do as a boxer. I think a lot of people forget that, or they don't know that, or they don't want to know that, because it's the hardest part of training. I've been sparring heavyweights, cruiserweights, light heavyweights, because in the super middleweight division, these guys are naturally bigger than me, so I have to get used to that. And there's been a lot of sparring, and as you guys have seen, it's been very intense sparring, which has got me prepared for this fight.
I noticed something you mentioned in the press conference there, that you've been on fight weight for 3 weeks. So usually, obviously, fighters come down in weight, throughout until 5 weeks. So, any particular reason you've been on weight so early?
I'm not naturally a super middleweight. I'm naturally a middleweight really. I should be fighting a middleweight, but I can't get fights in middleweight. Or the opportunities that were given to me were at super middleweight, so I've taken it.
Behind us we have Wembley Stadium, and obviously around 2 months ago Anthony Joshua faced Vladimir Klitschko in that very stadium. I know I've heard you say before in interviews you'd like to fight at Brighton's Wbbs Stadium. However, surely you've got aspirations to headline in that stadium behind us there.
Of course. I mean, this is you want to fight where wherever the biggest amount of people can attend. So yes, in the future, Wembley Stadium is definitely somewhere I would love to fight, and I don't see why, within the next year, with some of the names that are being put in front of me, we can't get it on.
In your opinion, though, what if you had to have one blockbuster fight in that stadium? Who would you personally like to have it against? If you had to choose someone in particular?
It's the name that makes the most sense is George Groves, because he has a world title, he has a name, he's a fighter that the British public want to see me fight, and he's going to be in the Super 8 tournament. So that would be an awesome fight to have at Wembley.
Absolutely, and I remember something I mentioned to you at the first press conference. I spoke to you a bit about unification fights and other domestic clashes with British fighters such as Degale and Groves, and now you're in the World Boxing Super Series. You've now got George Groves and Callum Smith in there, and George Groves has a world title. But I want to speak to you in particular about your opponent you picked, Anvi. I can't remember his surname, but Yildirim, Anvi Yildirim. Are you aware of anything about him, and in terms of your fight with Abraham, how are you looking to prepare for him as well?
I'm not preparing for him yet. I'm not focused on him. He was, out of the names I was given, he was the fight, probably the hardest fight that I could have taken, and in my opinion, the most exciting for fans to see. So that's why I told my father to choose him. But preparation hasn't begun for him. Obviously, everything now is being done for Arthur Abraham.
Additionally, in that very arena tomorrow after your weigh-in, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather come head-to-head, and I know obviously you've trained out there before with Floyd in Vegas. What do you make of the whole rhetoric so far around Mayweather-Mcgregor? How do you see the fight going, and have you managed to catch up on the first two press conferences at all, and what do you make of those?
It's a spectacle, it's entertainment, and it's got the potential to be a good fight. If Conor goes in there really believing that he can win, then it'll be great to watch. Whether he can win or not is hard to say, but I've seen the press conferences. You know, it's theatrics, it's entertainment, it's show business. It's putting boxing on the tongues of the world, and that can only be good for the sport.
And finally, Chris, domestic clashes going forward, are you hoping to get them? Groves, Degale, Callum Swift, those sorts of guys, are you hoping that's come in the next 12 months?
No hoping, it's just going to happen. These fights are there to be had, and they will happen within the next 12 months.
RBO Super Middleweight Champion Chris Eubank Jr., thank you so much for your time today. All the best ahead of your fight on Saturday, and fingers crossed we can catch up with you soon.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good luck for Saturday. Thank you. Cheers.